Hi, this is Sheila with Successful Women Talk. I want to say thanks for joining me today. I'm excited to bring you a great interview today with the ladies from Sugar Snap. We are with Stacy Cooper Dent and Tara Smith Evans. They're going to share their story about how they met and how they started their business, the length of time it actually took them to get their product to market. That's kind of an interesting story. Some of the hurdles that they've jumped since starting and where they are today. So check out this interview with them. It's a wonderful interview. Don't forget to go to our website, www.successfulwomentalk.com. Join the community, get insights, interviews, and tips and tricks on organizing your business. Stay tuned and let us know what you think about the interview. Thanks, guys. Hi everyone, this is Sheila Butler with Successful Women Talk, and I want to say thanks for joining us today. Excited we have two guests with us today. I think you're going to love this story. We have Stacy Cooper Dent and Tara Smith Evans. They are the founders of Sugar Snap. It's a creative product and system business for parents. They're both busy moms, both have twins. Can't wait to learn more about their story. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate you joining me. Hey, we're going to start off with the first question that I pretty much ask everyone, which is tell us a little bit more about yourself, your background, and how you started your business.
Sure. So I was 7.5 months pregnant with twins. I had gained 100 pounds, and I was on my hospital tour with all of these petite, pregnant little ladies with little bellies, and I looked over and I saw Tara, and I said, there must be twins in there, too. We met on our hospital tour where we found out that we were expecting twins on the same day with the same doctor.
Wow.
Yeah. We quickly worried, what if we go into labor the same day and we have one doctor issue? Yeah. Who's going to deliver our babies? Oh my gosh. That didn't happen, but we became fast friends. So during the end of our pregnancy, and then we brought home these wonderful little bundles of joy, we became each other's best friends to try to figure out how to stay ahead of the chaos. Mm-hmm. We had both been working moms or working women before we had babies, and we were overwhelmed by all the stuff and all of the chaos that came into our house. So that was the initial inspiration behind Sugar Snap.
That's great. You know, you hear that a lot of times. Most moms that are business owners or start a business, it's usually because of a need. Well, you guys had double the need.
So, we did. Quadruple.
Yeah, that's a good point. Quadruple the need.
We did. We always say, the saying, you should write the book you want to read. And we have changed that to, you should invent the product that you need. Because we would pack our diaper bags and repack them. And we had lists that we downloaded. We thought we had everything, and we felt like we needed one or two of everything out there. We'd pack these giant diaper bags, and we'd put some stuff in Ziploc bags, and we tried to be organized. And then we would get to the park, and one of the 4 babies would spit up or start screaming, and we'd rifle through our diaper bags, and we just kept saying, there just has to be a better way. These turned into this sort of black hole tote bag where you pretty much knew you had something you needed, but you could never find it. And, as Stacy mentioned, we both worked full-time, and we had lots of products and different systems in place for our work life and our home life pre-kids that really helped us stay organized. And we couldn't believe that there just didn't seem to be that same selection of high-quality, stylish products for moms. Here's this most important job in the world, caring for baby or babies in our case, and we just couldn't find products out there that helped us feel like we were staying ahead of the chaos.
That's terrific. Excuse me, sorry about that. So, I know I've purchased as a mom, I've purchased probably 15 diaper bags, and it's what I've discovered is exactly what you said. It's not the diaper bag. It's the problem that there's really no organization there. So what you guys offer is something that you can actually insert into the bag. So and even your handbag.
That's right. That's one of the fun things that we found in developing the product, that it is a filing system. So the product's called the Sugar Snap Files, and it's a set of 5 smaller bags, and they connect together, and each one has a file tab on top. So there are 5 different categories, which pretty much cover most of the stuff that you'd carry with baby or toddler. And so you put this set of 5 bags, you put all of your items in each bag where it belongs, and then you put the set in your diaper bag, and you know where everything is. And then we found that using the Sugar Snap files, you can turn any bag into a fully functional diaper bag, which is really fun for moms who love carrying their either fancy purses or tote bags. And you can now use those as a diaper bag.
I love that. And it's, I truly believe that running a business is much like running a family. You have to have systems in place. I am huge into organization and systems for running a business. And I found that running a family is much the same way.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. Yes. I mean, we both believe that the more you can stay ahead of that chaos, just life can be more fun. So we want to create products that help parents do that.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. So your kiddos are both 4.5 right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where do you see the growth of your business going as those kiddos grow and their needs change?
From a product side or from our business point?
From both, from a product and your business side.
Well, luckily, as kids grow and we continue to find new ways that we need organization in our families and our lives, we are starting. So we have our second product helps organize the stuff that goes along with kids in a car. So that product's called Cargo, and we are in development on 2 more products that are help you as you travel with your kids and even potentially into the home. So we're working on a lot of things.
That's terrific.
Great inspiration because, as you know, from infant to baby to toddler. To pre-kindergarten where our kids are, you need different stuff and you need different systems to organize it. You start out with diapers, and then when you get through potty training, you don't need the diapers, but you still need an extra change of clothes. And so, we're working on different products that can help a family from infant all the way to a school-age child organize their stuff, because it's a problem every parent faces. Whether
Absolutely.
Are organized, you want to be organized. Even that we have parents and friends who say, I don't worry that much about being organized, but they still love our products because everyone just wants to feel like you're kind of on top of the stuff.
Absolutely. Better conquer it than it conquering you.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you this. So some people have this problem. They're not organized, or maybe a parent sees a potential need, but you guys actually took that to the next level and started a business. So were you guys raised were your parents entrepreneurial, or what really sparked you to start a business? Because it's a little scary.
Yeah, it is. I don't come from an entrepreneurial background, but it's something that had always been in my spirit and something I had wanted. I had been thinking of ideas for years, and this was a combination of having that spirit and finally knowing that it was the right thing and ready to commit our time and resources to it. I think Tara maybe came from a little bit of a different place.
Yeah, actually, both my parents are entrepreneurs and they had their own business. And so I just grew up in a household where, my parents were both the boss and the employee. And so they had the freedom to pick us up from school and take vacation whenever they wanted. And when I got into the workforce, it was sort of a rude awakening. I was like, well, I have to ask for vacation time? What? I didn't even know what that model was. And I, embarked on a career in the nonprofit sector. So all these years later, I do have a boss and I do, ask for vacation time. But I always wanted to start my own business. I always had that interest and that, just the entrepreneurial spark. And as Stacy said, it was just sort of the perfect combination of us both being excited to work together. We had the same sort of vision of building this family-friendly company. And then we were at the park one day, and we're rifling through our bags, like we were saying, and looking through Ziploc bags. And we just thought, you know what, we can come up with a better way. And so that was just that, that spark that pushed us over the edge to really want to commit to doing this in the midst of having, 4 babies between us and 2 jobs, 2 husbands, pets, the house, the whole 9 yards. So
it's funny because I interviewed Alicia Overby from Baby Elephant Ears, and she has 4 kiddos at home. Excuse me. And she did the same thing. That her kids were all really little, and she found a need, and then she started a business. So people are always like, wow, how do you have the time? But, what I have found, and I'll let you guys talk about this as well, is you find that you make the time. We all have the same amount of time. It depends upon how you want to choose it. How do you guys divide up that time between your family and your business?
So for us, it's worked very naturally and organically. We feel very, very blessed to have it's just happened that we have sort of different schedules in terms of how we like to work. So I tend to stay up late and do a bunch of work and emails before bed. Stacy goes to bed on the early side, but wakes up at the crack of dawn, like 4 a.m. So she gets a bunch of emails from me when she wakes up and does a bunch of work before sort of the regular workday starts. And we have certainly sacrificed a lot of time with our family. We rely a lot on our husbands to pick up the slack. So we meet a lot of times in the evenings and on the weekends. So we do find the time.
Yeah.
It's a balance.
Yeah, it has been organic, and I think we pride ourselves on efficiency and that we are very hard workers, so that combination works. It's hard, and I don't want to say it's not. It's to get a business to a place where it's going to be successful takes a lot of time and a lot of sacrifice. But I think we have to keep reminding ourselves why we're doing it and what the envision is going to be. So mostly it works, but there's some weeks it's harder than others.
It is, and we feel like we are doing this not only for ourselves because it's amazing and fun and challenging, but for our families and our lifestyle. You know, we would love to have this large company with employees that was super family friendly, and we could take vacations and we could spend time with our kids, and the kids would grow up helping in the business, which even at 4.5, they help us pack boxes. And, so we really envision this long term. We have to kind of keep our eyes on the goal. I know one thing for myself, a lot of moms say, I had such a great idea, but I didn't know how to start. And how did you actually, make your idea into a product and a company? And I always say it's the partnership with Stacy. If I had just come up with this idea in isolation on my own, even if I was 100% convinced it was a great idea, I just wouldn't have had the wherewithal to do it. And so having a partnership, not only do you have that person to bounce ideas off of, but to, divide the responsibilities and keep each other going. We sort of trade off with our high and low moments. There's sometimes when one of us gets discouraged or overwhelmed and the other one is there as a cheerleader. And so that's been a big part of it too, is having the partnership in our friendship.
I love that. And I told you guys before we started recording, I was in a partnership before. It ended up not turning out well, but after about 2 years of getting over that, I would have a partner again, because I believe in that. I think that we each have our strengths and our weaknesses, and if you know what those are, and if you find somebody that matches well with you but has different skill sets than you, I don't think there could be anything more powerful than a great partnership.
Yes, and we're lucky too, because we have different professional backgrounds, different skill sets, and different interests. And so it's just been very natural that Stacy will do certain tasks that I just literally couldn't do if my life depended on it. And then I'll do some of the stuff that I actually enjoy that really isn't her favorite. And so that part has been also just really wonderful.
Good luck. It was good luck.
It was very good luck. Yeah, we feel very fortunate.
Well, I truly believe that things don't happen by coincidence. It's taken me a long time to figure that out, but there's a reason that you guys met in the hospital that day when you were both 7 months pregnant. There's a reason you are where you are today, and there's probably a reason that your company's going to be very successful as well because of those things. So let me ask you this. How did you go about doing product development or having your initial prototypes made? And where do you currently manufacture, and how do you manage all of that?
Sure. So the product that we have in market now, our flagship product, the Sugar Snap Files, took probably 18 months of development and refinement. We first engaged somebody that was an expert in soft goods. We flew down to Los Angeles. We hired somebody to help us. It ended up not quite being the right partnership. We were, he had different goals than we did, and he had a different aesthetic and different background. We brought it back in and we said, we can do this. We can figure out how to do this better, and we can do it ourselves. We didn't know how to do product design at that point, but we have found a number of people that have been great partners to help us in that process. Do you think?
Yeah, that has been, again, just so fortunate. That's helped us along the way. So a mutual friend of ours said, I think I know someone who used to be a bag designer and he's currently a stay-at-home dad. I wonder if he would help you. And sure enough, he was the nicest guy, and we set up shop at our local Starbucks, and he taught us how to actually design and do the technical specs for designing our product. And honestly, without him, we would not have moved nearly as fast as we did, because he taught us the details of how you design the actual instructions to send to the manufacturer. And then in the meantime, we did a lot of market research. We had focus groups. We did online surveys. We connected with folks from our local moms club. We found a computer programmer that way and a designer. And so we used our networks, both professional and personal, to ask for help when we needed it, and to hire folks that had the expertise we didn't. So we sewed prototypes ourselves. I mean, the first prototype Stacy and her mom sewed on a sewing machine out of just a fabric we bought at the fabric store to get an idea. And we just did iteration after iteration. We refined it. And then we started working with this friend of ours who helped us really come up with sort of the final details. And that's when we were ready to find the manufacturing partner.
I led the manufacturing partner search, and we called hundreds of people. We called people throughout the United States and Canada and Mexico. We reached out to producers that produce for large companies that helped us source. We ended up finding somebody down in Los Angeles that does manufacturing for a large company, and they helped us find a factory over in China that was a great partner for us to do round after round of prototypes. They would send us colors and materials, and we got to kind of build that in an iterative process. So it was something that took a while, and every time we'd hit a wall, we just regroup and figure out a different direction to go. So right now we're manufacturing at 2 different facilities in Asia that have both become great partners and friends of ours through the process. We keep our inventory here outside of our houses in San Carlos, California, where our products are shipped from. And right now we're just trying to understand how we can forecast and build the flow to keep the inventory moving to meet, our demand. And we move boxes around every night and every weekend between houses and storage units and shipping facilities.
Are you doing your own shipping, or you have a distributor?
Right now we're doing our own fulfillment. We're getting pretty close to the point where we might need to outsource that and use a fulfillment center. But we wanted to just, we're bootstrapping it ourselves. So we really wanted to cut costs and do as much as we possibly could in-house. And then the stuff that we either could not do ourselves, we didn't have the expertise, or we felt was critical, like our website, that kind of stuff, we outsourced. But yeah, for right now, we have all the inventory in a storage facility, and we're doing it ourselves.
I love that. That's maybe one of my most favorite things that you've said so far, because I think it's important for people to understand that to get to where you want to be, you do have to sacrifice time, effort, and money. And I think if you understand the shipping process, which is going to be a huge part of your business, then one day if you want to outsource it, you'll understand it. Some people I think, in my opinion, want to outsource that from the very beginning. And I don't think that's a great idea at all. I mean, I went from knowing, I got out of business school, went into business with my business partner. I'd never used a forklift, never unloaded a container. We did every bit of that ourselves. We were the same way as you. We had to bootstrap. I think that makes a big difference in a business long term.
Yeah, we hope so. We're trying to make strategic decisions at every point in the road. And for us, you're right, we wanted to touch that product, and we want to understand where there's quality issues and where the customer feedback's coming and how to build those systems. But then there becomes this point where we have to figure out what things we can let go so we can focus on growing the business. Because if not, it becomes, we ship things out all the time and we aren't thinking about what the business is going to need to be 2 years from now. So it's like, where is that tipping point for us?
Yeah, it's easy to sort of get lost in the weeds of running the business, the day-to-day, customer service and fulfilling orders and packaging them up nicely. And now that we know what we want, what kind of quality we want, we feel more comfortable, as you were saying, since we've done it ourselves, we feel more comfortable when we get to that point where it's time to hire someone to do that so that we can keep up with the volume of sales.
Absolutely. And as you become more familiar with your manufacturer in Asia, you'll learn that you're not going to have to probably QC everything as much. I mean, that's a nice thing as well. When we got to the point to where we could get a container in and we weren't having to open everything, we could pretty much just cross-dock it and get it out the door.
Yes.
That is such a huge step.
We're looking forward to that. When we got our first shipment,
Sharon did it all 2,000 pieces she did herself.
Yeah, we looked at 2,000. No,
you did.
I did.
I left her with lurch on that.
Well, do you want to say why? Or no? I mean, she was.
I had back surgery the week that they came in, so it was the most poorly planned week of.
I mean, but
it's been like years in making on both of those
I know,
right?
poor thing. So she was recovering from surgery when we got our giant, pallets delivered to my house, and because this was our first time working with this manufacturer, we felt good. Our samples had come out, but we were going to now be selling these to our friends and people we didn't know and online. And so it was very important to us that the quality was good. So between myself, another one of my good friends, Stacy's husband, we spent hours and hours in my garage going through each and every set of the files. And we're hoping that when we get this second shipment, we've done a number of rounds of samples so that things are exactly to our specifications. And we're hoping that we don't have to do that again. That would be quite nice.
It does get easier. That's the nice thing. You're going through the painful part right now, but it does get easier. So that's, I'm working with a client right now, and she sells a really nice crochet hat. You know how you see baby pictures with the cute little hats? Well, she, for the first time, decided to do some manufacturing overseas, and she didn't visit there and got some samples in. They were really nice, and when she ordered the product and got it in, it was just a mess. So we're going through the process of fixing that. So it's really nice that you guys have had a good experience, and most people do that I've talked with, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, here's a perfect example. So we got our second product. We managed all of the bringing it into the United States. I went and got a U-Haul truck, and I thought I was going to go down to the Port of Oakland and pick it up.
Not so
it
fast.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
No, there's lots of
people to call, import companies and talk about duties and tariffs and rates and saying I don't have, a lift gate. We're going to need a forklift delivered and all of those things. So it's, everything takes so long the first time, and as you work out the kinks.
Yeah,
it becomes easier.
We say everyone says, oh, what is it like to be a mompreneur and an entrepreneur? And I mean, we say it's doing the things that you don't know how to do every day, all day, because we didn't know how to do technical drawings. We didn't know how to make a design on a pattern or how to do import export or how to program a website. I mean, every day is something new we have to try to figure out that we don't know how to do, but that is, I think, part of the draw. That's why people like being an entrepreneur and doing this, because the challenge is just amazing. It's just very rewarding to be learning new stuff every day.
I agree. And I love talking to people that are young in business like you, because it's so, I've been there, and I know that there's so much light at the end of the tunnel for you all. It's just learning, and you're going to appreciate all of these learning steps. You may not right now, but one day you're going to go, wow, I'm glad I learned that. Because then when you need to teach someone or explain it to someone, you'll understand why you do it that way, not just because.
Yes, and we are really being mindful of our learnings, and we would love to help other mompreneurs in the future. I mean, like we were saying a few minutes ago, we hear a lot of people say, I have such a great idea, but I don't know where to start. And we feel like down the road, we could work with other women and help them make their dreams a reality by learning all these lessons ourselves, like you're doing. It sounds like you do the same thing.
Absolutely. I believe in giving back. I know I didn't really have a mentor when I started, and I think the whole reason I do this show is because if you look up successful entrepreneur, you Google that, it's usually going to be a man. And I don't have anything against that, except for there are so many successful, powerful women out there that are doing great things that aren't highlighted. And I think if we highlighted more women like yourselves, then other women could go, hey, I can do that. I had a great idea. They didn't know either when they started, but they started anyway. So I love that part of it.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, we believe in that too.
So let me ask you, what has been the most rewarding thing you've done so far, and what's been the most challenging thing about having a business, starting a business?
Well, one of our big challenges was when we got our first set of samples made, and they were just completely different from what we expected. The material, the fabric, the shape, the style, and we were so excited to open this box thinking this is the first time someone else has tried to translate, our ideas into a tangible product. And I went over to Stacy's house after work and she hadn't opened the box yet, and we opened it and we almost just burst into tears. I mean, these samples were so far from what we had envisioned. And it was not only just such a disappointment to see them, but I think for me it was a realization that, wow, we have a lot of work ahead of us. This is not as easy as it seems. And so that was a setback, and we bounced back, but I think that was such a rude awakening in some ways.
Yeah.
How about for you?
I think that's right. I think being an entrepreneur over this journey for the last 2+ years, we hit wall after wall after wall, and it's on every single thing we've done, and it's always about which way do we turn, and where is there somebody else we can talk to, and what other different ways can we do this? And that's been, I think, the hardest thing, is how many times we were going to come to a hard place and have to just go, okay, let's start over, and we know there's a solution here.
Yeah.
And not lose the commitment and the energy and the passion through that process.
Yeah.
Or at least
I love that.
Yeah. I think in terms of the upside of all of it, I mean, there's been a lot of wonderful moments along the way. I mean, when we got these pallets of our product and they looked amazing, and then a couple months later, we did a Kickstarter campaign to help us raise some seed money to order the cargo product that goes in the trunk of your car, and then to get the pallets of that and to see everything come together and look beautiful. For sure, our first website sale to someone we didn't know, a stranger liked our product enough to buy it. And then just a couple weeks ago, there was another moment that brought tears to my eyes, where this lifestyle host, her name is Kimberly. What's her last name? I can't remember now. Kimberly. She has Kim's Closet TV. So she's a TV host. And she does these wonderful lifestyle segments. And she wanted to highlight our products in sort of a series on back to school for the CEO mom.
Oh, I love that.
To see the YouTube clip of her with the host of this morning TV show our cargo and talk about it and say, oh, I love this product. It's from a company called Sugar Snap. And I mean, that was unbelievable.
You're doing the happy dance. You're like, that's me.
One of the most exciting days, and these are all just small moments that were so meaningful to us, but we went to our first San Francisco baby show. We thought, let's just go out there and see what people think about our product. We did not go with the expectation that we were going to sell anything. We couldn't even talk to the people. They were so deep, and they were saying, I want that, I get it. And here we were in front of hundreds of people, and them having such excitement about something that we had such a vision for was just gave me goosebumps. I didn't even sleep that night. It was so exciting.
Yeah, that was also wonderful, because this was a group of strangers to us, and so we had to show them what our product was and what it did, and as soon as people saw it, they loved it, and they were just flying out of our hands. And halfway through the day, we actually had to call Stacy's dad and say, bring more product, we're selling out. And it was a show that for a lot of the other vendors there was very slow. And so people kept coming up to us and saying, what are you two doing? Why do you have a line of 10 people here? And just to get that gratification that we love our product and we love what it does and how it helps moms, but to see that translated into someone else agreeing and wanting to buy it in the hopes it will help them feel more organized. It's just so gratifying.
And like you said, someone that's not your family, because your family, I can remember when I made my first online sale with my new company, Me Giant, and I was like, it was like, I don't know this. I don't know this person. This is a stranger. That's the best part.
Yeah. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Well, listen, if someone wanted to, I forgot, we got to talk about this. You guys tried out and for Shark Tank. You guys want to talk about that briefly? That's kind of I saw your videos online. I love that you guys are doing some video, by the way.
Yes. So I have watched every episode of Shark Tank since season 1. Again, just being an aspiring entrepreneur, even before we started Sugar Snap, I loved the show. And so it's always been our secret dream to audition. And last year we weren't ready. We didn't have the product yet. And we had a lot of details to work out. And then this spring, you know, we've sort of followed the social media of Shark Tank, and there's a website that sort of, you know, keeps the fans up to date. So we heard that there was an audition in May in Los Angeles, and we're in Northern California, so it's a quick flight. And it was almost spur of the moment that we just said, you know what, let's do it. Let's buy a ticket, and we'll stay in a hotel room overnight, we thought.
Sort of.
I picked her up after work. We drove down to the airport. We flew in. We get to this hotel. We get our key, and we look outside, and there's a line down the block.
And it's 9 o'clock the night before the audition.
What are you in line for? We were shocked. So we said, we are doing this. We commit to everything 100%. We looked at each other. We went to the drugstore. We got lawn chairs, and we slept on the sidewalk.
Yep, we spent the whole night outside. And we took turns so we could get a couple of hours of sleep each. And we used the blankets and hotels, which we returned, so it's okay. But everyone kind of raiding the room for pillows to try to be comfortable as much as you can in a lawn chair on the sidewalk in North Hollywood all night. And we met a lot of cool people, and we practiced our pitch. And we waited from about 9 or 10 at night until noon the next day. And then we pitched our product. And the way it worked is, you know, you get about 2 or 3 minutes the very first round to just introduce yourselves really quickly, introduce your product. And if they like you and the product and kind of your presence and personality, they put you through to the second round. So we made it to the second round, which is where they videotape you. And, you know, we'd done our research. We had written and memorized a script. So we each knew what we were saying. We had this really funny demonstration we brought 2 dolls that represented called them our stunt double babies. They were our little twins. And we had an unpacked usual diaper bag. And then we had another diaper bag packed with the exact same items, but in the Sugar Snap files. So it was just very clear visually what our product does to transform your diaper bag. So we did this little song and dance where we're at the park and we can't find what we need, and then let's do it again with the files, and here's the wipe. Ta-da! And really well, and it was super fun, and we met some of the most fascinating people. It was really cool. And I brought my little flip camera. So the videos that are on our website, on our Buzz page, and they're on our YouTube channel as well. We just sort of put them into 3, you know, small videos to document our adventure. And we're honestly still waiting to hear. We hope that we do. We don't know if we would ever make it to filming. And I guess a lot of people who even film in front of the sharks, those segments don't even air. So there's a lot of unknown factors, but it was kind of just a dream that we had, and it was quite the adventure. And
it was a great experience. It really
you know what I love, and I keep with this story and the story from the very beginning, you guys have just not been afraid to try. And I love that. So many people are just afraid to try. Like, so many people might have approached that going, well, I'll never make it on Shark Tank, so I'm not even going to try. You guys just put yourselves out there, and I love that.
Well, thank you. We do. You know, part of what we want to create is not, you know, just products, but sort of a community of moms that support each other. You know, we're willing to say it's really wonderful to be a mom, but it's really hard, and it's okay to say that. And we're here to help and support each other. And that's why we sort of make these silly videos. Even when our cargo product arrived, we filmed that just shows us kind of stumbling around with this giant truck and our, you know, wonderful delivery man and these pallets. And, you know, we want to show sort of the real side of what it's like to be a mom juggling all that.
And who you are. And people actually really relate to that. And I actually loved your video of you getting your product, because I've been there and done that as well. And it means so much. And it gives everybody else an insight into who you are. You're real people. Somebody you would want to meet. Therefore, maybe somebody you would want to buy products from. Thanks. I love that.
Yeah, that's how we feel too. You know, we don't want to, just because we're selling products to help moms get and stay organized, we don't want to pretend that we are on the ball 100% of the time because it's not real. Just when you're juggling young kids and whether you work in or outside the house or part-time or full-time, I mean, it's hard. And, you know, we want to show that we are real people. And, you know,
I do feel a tremendous pressure to always have my purse organized now.
Well, now you do because you have the files.
But I'm like, everything always has to be perfect. What if someone asks and I have an unorganized?
Yeah, open that bag up. Let's see what's in there.
Yeah, it's funny. We each, you know, carry the full set in our bags, even though, thank goodness, now neither one of us needs to carry diapers. And, you know, when we're at the office, we don't have to carry in our shirts and socks and extra change of clothes. But it's funny. So we carried the set because we're always out and about meeting people and people ask about the product. And we found that it's so helpful just for the stuff, you know, all your kid stuff aside. It's such a great system to just keep your purse organized. So
absolutely. Well, let me ask you this. If there was somebody out there in your shoes a couple of years ago, a lady out there that's thinking maybe she has a great idea but not really sure, what advice would you give that person?
I would say do your market research, whatever that looks like for you. I would do the market research to see if other people agree that, number one, there is a problem that a lot of people face, and number two, that your solution to this problem is a good one, because it is so hard and expensive and exhausting and everything else. You have to be committed. And so, you know, for us, we did have focus groups. And we ran a lot of ideas by friends and there's tons of free online surveys that you can put together. Access your local network, your mom's club, online groups. There's tons of wonderful resources online, you know, especially for mompreneurs. So if you think that you have a good idea, definitely test it out and get feedback, you know, not just from your friends who want to support you, but we're saying from
strangers.
Yes, who will give you, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then if you find that the problem you face and the solution you have is shared by many people, then start the process of actually trying to make it happen.
I love that.
Yeah, I think the other piece of advice I would give is for somebody to think really realistically, how many resources do they want to put in of time and money, and realize that it's a big commitment. And if you're going to do it, you've got to do it right. Mm-hmm. So make sure you really think about that before you start, so you don't get halfway down and then feel like you're stuck somewhere. And then once you do make that commitment, you can do it. It's all about talking to somebody else and finding a different way. Because you're going to hear no a million times. You're going to hear you can't do that or it doesn't work that way. There's a different way then. And it's the tenacity to be an entrepreneur. If you have that in your spirit, you can do it.
And ask for and accept help. And I think especially for women who are strong, successful women, we all want to be capable in every aspect of our life. It's very hard for us to ask for help and accept it. And so that's something we work on constantly. We ask our husbands all the time for extra childcare, but we ask friends, you know, I need help with a pickup from school, or, you know, I need you to just help me do this. And do you know anyone who knows how to do this? So it's the networking, but it's also asking for help. That's how, you know, like we were saying earlier, we found some of our most amazing resources is just by asking people, do you know anyone who knows how to do this? So don't be afraid to just, you know, get out there and use your networks and be honest about what you're trying to do and ask for help when you need it.
I love that. I just finished up an interview a couple of weeks ago with a lady by the name of Suzanne DeRay, and she said the same thing. And her whole interview was based around the don't be afraid the art of asking. And if once we as women, well, like you said, we're not good about that. But once we get over that and you ask, it's free. It's so, you have so much freedom, and people are so willing to help if you're willing to ask.
Yes. People, especially your close friends, actually want to help. It's not a burden, and you would do the same for your friend. And so you have to sort of translate that, how much you would like to help your friend. You have to, you know, turn that around on you and think to yourself, if I ask my neighbor or my friend, they probably would literally jump at the chance to help me. And so that's something we've been practicing a lot over the last couple of years.
That's terrific. Ladies, this has been really wonderful. I've loved learning more about your story. I can't wait to see where you go with your company. I think it's going to do very well, and I'm really proud of you all. Let me ask you this. If someone wanted to connect with you, where's the best place?
First of all, we would love that. We love talking to people of doing all different kinds of things. Come to our website, sugarsnap.com. Both of our emails are on there, and reach out. We'd love to connect.
Perfect. And we'll connect. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say we're big social media fans too. So we have a Facebook page, which is Hey Sugar Snap. We're on Twitter all the time. We love connecting with folks on Twitter. Again, our Twitter handle is Hey 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 Sugar Snap. And we have a Pinterest page, and now we do have our own YouTube channel because we just seem to like to make videos. So if you come to our website, you can connect with us on all of those channels, and we'd love to hear from folks.
Perfect. We will link all of those up in the show notes as well.
Great. Thank you.
Ladies, this has been terrific. I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Sheila.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. Okay, that's our show, and thanks again for tuning in. Hey, I have a huge favor. I'd like for you to join us over at www.successfulwomentalk.com. Join our email list, and on that list, you'll be a VIP. You'll be receiving all of our newest updates, newest interviews, our newsletter, and any tips and tricks we have for organizing your business and getting raving fans and customers that actually just sing your praises. So again, thanks again for tuning in. Check us out next week for another episode of SuccessfulWomenTalk.com. Thanks, guys.